Welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer. Today we are going to listen to a talk on the fruits of prayer given us by a French Carmelite friar. Father Emmanuel tells us that the fruits of prayer are the result of a regular practice of Teresian prayer. These fruits do not happen overnight or at the end of the first week of prayer, but rather over time through a disciplined life of prayer. The verse in the Gospel of John 15:5, "Remain in me and I in you, and you will reap much fruit," characterizes Teresian prayer. The fruits of prayer increase as He remains in me and we live in one another. So we are going to look at three major fruits of prayer. The three topics are self-knowledge, knowledge of others, and finally, knowledge of God. So today, let's turn our attention to the knowledge of self. The knowledge of self comes from a disciplined life of prayer over time. One aspect of this knowledge of self is humility. I start to realize that I'm miserable. I start to realize my own misery, that I can't and that I don't know how to pray. This is a form of humility. It's an awareness of an aspect of myself that I wasn't aware of. This is an indicator of progress. I become a beggar before God. I realize that I need God. I realize that I'm more complex than I might have thought, and that I do need God to help me. Another aspect of the knowledge of self is the difference between sincerity versus truth, coming to see that there is a difference. I start to notice that my thinking is off, and prayer clarifies the difference here between sincerity and truth, and it's very liberating. Father gives the example of the Mediterranean mother and her children, the mother who sincerely believes that she knows and does what's best for her children all throughout their lives. And she sincerely believes this because they are her children. But it's far from the truth. Another aspect of the knowledge of self is that we notice that we are becoming more, or let me say less superficial. There's a turning within, and I begin to discover an interior world. It's a complex world with spaces and corners, and this sets me free. I become detached from the world, detached from myself. Another aspect of the knowledge of self is my priorities change. I become more focused on my spiritual health, the health of my soul. Prayer starts to become a priority. My relationship to God matters. And then finally, time constraints. In our world today, everything is going so fast, so quickly. Prayer teaches us the true measure of our days, teaches us to live in the moment, to be present to the presence of God within. God is not stressed. Another rhythm starts to happen. We are preoccupied. We are occupied. We are overbooked. But in prayer, we learn to live in the moment, and our available time increases as we establish new priorities. Amen. So this is the end of part 1. We listened to Father talk to us about one of the fruits of prayer, knowledge of self. He will continue by talking to us further about knowledge of others and knowledge of God. And I hope that this series will bless you. May God bless you and yours. Amen.